Now, if you're returning to work this week, commiserations after the summer break, chances are you're experiencing what psychologists call post-holiday tension. A British survey has found 80% of workers suffer varying degrees of back-to-work blues after the holiday periods.
So if you're one of those feeling the post-holiday come down, how can you soften the blow of returning to work? For more, we're joined by performance coach Andrew May. Good morning.
It sounds like me experiencing that first couple of days back at work.
Hey, post-holiday tension, I mean, is it real or is it just people being a little bit grumpy about going back to work?
I think it's a bit of both, Ali, but as our lives get busier and we fill up, this space with digital media and always on the grid, it is becoming more and more real. So psychologists have coined the term PHBs, or post-holiday blues, which explains that period now for most of our viewers in the next 2 to 3 weeks when you get back after a good summer break. And in Australia, a good summer break is normally barbecues, beach, swimming, time with family and friends, and of course cricket, catching up on sport, and then you get back to work this week and start going, that little voice inside our head, is this as good as it gets? Like, is this what I'm destined for the next 12 months? So it is
Wouldn't
real.
you just say, well, get on with it? People have had to do this for years. Why do we have to put a name on it?
You might be the 2 out of
10. There is a definite point of what you're saying, Ali, that some people, need to build a bridge or get a straw and, get on with it. But I think what I've realised the last couple of years is when I do get back to work after a good holiday, you actually have that little voice inside your head going, do I need more holidays? Or, even some people will start thinking about a different job. So the next 2 to 3 weeks is not the best time to make a career decision. A friend of mine says every holiday, he has a good holiday, he comes back, he wants to be a dolphin trader. And then he says then after a week or two, then he actually goes, look, my job's not too bad. Yeah. So don't make any major decisions in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It is real, and about 80% of people have some sort of, let's call it tension, after they get back from a good holiday.
Before we go through your tips and how people might be able to best handle the next couple of weeks, you mentioned people get back after a good holiday, but sometimes it's not such a good holiday, is it? People sort of have crammed their holiday too much and then they get to the end of it and think, well, they've wasted that time.
I call those the cathedral chases or the moment chases.
Yeah.
Go to Europe or you go overseas. How was it? Oh, fantastic. Like, did you relax? No, but we saw every church, every steeple. So I think one thing is if you fill your holiday up too much, PK. The second thing is if you have young kids. For a lot of people, a holiday with young kids, you're always on.
Yeah.
And the third one, I'll add this now, is social media and digital. And what I try and do on holidays is get off the devices. So check into ABC, of course, check into News Brekkie, but then get off for the rest of the day and have a break. So I think if you don't really drop the tools when you're on holidays, you often come back and feel like you're still at work.
Yeah, like you need another holiday straight away.
Yeah.
So if you do feel like this and you get back to work on day one, I mean, what can you do to sort of make yourself feel better?
I'd say if people contact you and you just say, look, hard
enough. Get on with it. Okay, I'm going to have no friends this morning.
So have a good chat with
Beyond that.
Yeah, beyond that. Number one is get organised. Because I think a lot of people come back, Ali, and they're like, papers everywhere, files everywhere. Spend, if you can, before you go on holidays, or at least in this week, while it is a bit lighter in next week, plan your diary, get organised, get on top of things. A clear workspace is another good one. The second thing is plan your next holiday. I don't know whether, do you two do this when you come back?
It's hard in our line of work, but I guess you probably think about what month you might be taking break in, if you've worked through.
I don't plan very far ahead at all, but I do understand the logic of what you're saying. I do think
something
that if people can, exactly, have something, it may not even be a holiday, it might just be a weekend away, but just something that's a change of pace.
And that's a good point. It doesn't have to be a big break or an expensive holiday. It can just be 2 or 3 days away. So I'm already thinking about what are my next breaks coming up. The third one is in the next 2 to 3 weeks, don't make any major life decisions. So you might have wanted to be a dolphin trainer all of your life. So do a bit more research on that. You might want to be a busker at all the summer festivals, but I wouldn't go and tell the boss what to do. And stay in there, stay focused. And after 2 or 3 weeks, I think most people tend to get back into the rhythm of everything as well. Look at your energy levels. This is a big one as well when you're coming back to work. Now, you two are doing a great job hosting, but I'm sure you have to focus on this as well. When you come in nice and early, you have to look at the food you eat, look at exercise, getting good sleep. And that's the same for our viewers as well. It's really important now. Try and carry some of those summer moments. Summer, for most of us, we get fitter. PK, I'm sure you've been out with a singlet.
That's it, sun's out, guns out.
Sunning those guns.
Chasing kids. Yeah.
And the final one is if it's more than 2 or 3 weeks and you still have a severe case of the post-holiday blues, seek some help, because it might be a little bit more than just the blues. There could be some other challenges you're facing.
That's very good advice. Andrew, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. Now I'm feeling very unsympathetic, but I am sympathetic to people who, you know...
Two different types of advice, though, for people.
Well, yeah, well, yes, I think perhaps one comes from someone slightly more qualified. So
I need to harden up, I think.